Believe it or not, some of the most important and funniest scenes are usually improvised by the actor. This means that the script had nothing to do with what the actor did to give their character a little more character. Now, if we're talking about a list of improvised lines, why not discuss those in Stranger Things? Because who doesn't love that show? So, here are 10 improvised moments from the hit Netflix series. First up at number 10, 11 picks up more Eggos than required. Stranger Things is probably the only reason the person running the Eggos factory could afford a nice vacation. One of the most iconic things of the show is Eleven's obsession with this breakfast delicacy. Back in the first season, when Elle was roaming around a local grocery store, the script instructed Millie Bobby Brown to grab a box or two whilst adding a bit of humor to the scene. Instead, Millie grabbed a huge pile that she could barely balance in her tiny arms. How cute! The founder of this waffle brand has one person to thank for their rise in sales. Oh, and don't lie to yourself, you were one of the thousands of people to buy a box or three when the first season came out. Coming up with the hilarious ad-lib at number 9. Season 2 had many first-time experiences, including Nancy and Jonathan spending the night together at Murray's. The next morning, the three sat for breakfast and had the funniest and most awkward moment in the entire show. The new couple tried to hide the fact that they were together the entire night, but their host threw a few innuendos in the conversation which would have easily been mistaken for teasing at something. But the actor Brett Gelman accidentally dropped his scrambled eggs from his fork and instinctively and flirtatiously said, "Oops," so that he could make the two even more uncomfortable. The whole scene was executed so perfectly because everyone remained in character even though the best of us would have burst out laughing. If you were to replay the scene, you can actually see Natalia Dyer struggling to stay in character because she almost let out a laugh as soon as Brett delivered this hilarious ad-lib. Now for Dacre Montgomery getting carried away at number 8. Season 3 had a lot of ups and downs, but one thing's for sure. Dacre Montgomery stole the show with his acting. He had that intimidating presence which escalated after getting possessed by the Mind Flayer. Back when the kids trapped Max's brother in the sauna room, the script called for an intensified attempt at knocking the door over. Dacre got so carried away with his character that it was his idea to headbutt and shatter the glass. You could tell from the kids' expression that they didn't expect that to happen because of the look on their faces. Don't worry, we had the same reaction. Now for an emotional scene at number 7. The highlight of the latest season was the addition of Eddie Munson, an instant fan favorite who gathered thousands of fans within the first few seconds he made his debut on the show. Unfortunately, this character was just like the other additions to every season and met an untimely demise in the season finale by a horde of demobats. His sacrifice was the reason the garbage collector had to recycle a bunch of tissues because everybody saw for hours after the finale. The Stranger Things Writer Room Twitter account revealed that Eddie's final words were actually improvised by the actor Joseph Quinn. As he lay in his best friend's lap, gasping for his final breaths, Joe uttered the words, "I love you, man." Those 4 words were never in the script, and it was a little something from Quinn to give his character an even more emotional depth. We hope you're happy because those 4 words made a lot of us cry ourselves to sleep. Just for that, Joseph should publicly apologize for his improvisation, and then maybe, just maybe, fans will be okay with him returning for the final season. Just kidding. Sorry to burst your bubble, Munson fans, but you'll have to settle with those final words because he isn't returning anytime soon. Following up with another tear-jerking scene at number 6. Once again, we're focusing on the latest season and the other date that took place, which had every single fan on the verge of smashing their screens. Of course, we're talking about none other than the moment Vecna got what he wanted and killed Max for a split second. Her life was taken in the upside down, but her actual body collapsed into Lucas's lap in the real world. Caleb McLaughlin and Sadie Sink were already good friends, and the chemistry actors have with each other always helps when it comes to death scenes on screen. Take Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, for example. Garfield's performance when Gwen Stacy died in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just flawless. Now, Caleb improvised a line as he held Max's lifeless body when he yelled at his sister Erica for help. That line may have gone over our heads for a second, but if you think about it, Lucas always found his sister annoying and unbearable to have around his friends. That moment showed that the character was absolutely desperate to get help from anyone, even if it was from his sister. Oh Oh, our poor hearts. As if Eddie dying wasn't enough, the Duffer Brothers had us think we lost Max for good, even after that running up the hill scene in the mid-season. And would you look at that, the damn song is stuck in our heads for the 100th time this year. Moving on to another Max and Lucas scene at number 5. The king of improv class. McLaughlin really loves adding a bit of more zest to his important scenes. Going back to the second season at the school dance, Max actress Sadie was very nervous because she felt like her character was going to kiss Lucas. This would actually be Sync's first kiss, making things much more anxiety-inducing. When the young couple was having their adorable moment, Caleb initiated an unscripted kiss, which made all of us let out an audible "aww," as if the two weren't just risking their lives running from a flesh-eating demogorgon a while ago. Now for a moment between Mike and Eleven at number 4. Alright, Lucas and Max have hogged this list for far too long. It's time for the main couple of the show and the scenes that they improvised. When the team was prepping for their big fight against Billy and the Spider Monster, Mike and Elle had some alone time in one of the aisles in the shopping mall. This was when the two had temporarily broken up, and to win her heart back, Mike rambled on trying to find the words to express how much he loves the girl sitting across from him. The entire monologue, believe it or not, was almost completely improvised by Finn Wolfhard. If Vecna was watching them from the upside down, even if he would have let out a smile because the whole scene was just too cute. The directors loved the bit so much the Duffer Brothers encouraged Wolfhard to do whatever it was he was doing. It's like he got struck by Cupid's arrow for a brief second. Following up with another mall scene at number 3. When Elle went on a one-on-one with the Spider Monster at the mall, she used her telekinetic powers a little too hard, that even the actor could feel the after effects, which is kind of weird because weren't the cast just staring at a giant green screen? Guess now they know what it's like to star in a certain superhero cinematic universe. But in the final moments of the battle, Eleven fainted on Mike's lap, and you may not know this, but Millie actually fainted in real life. Looks like the actress acted her heart out in the scene. We heard of actors bleeding or getting injured for their scenes, but fainting sure is a first. In Brown's defense, focusing and screaming at the top of your lungs is no easy task to execute. Let's talk about Joyce and Hopper at number 2. Our favorite town sheriff was locked up in Russia for over half the latest season, and when he finally reunited with his beloved Joyce Byers, fans expected a lot more emotion. Both David Harbour and Winona Ryder are very talented and experienced actors, so they know what their characters need the most. When the two were alone, they shared a kiss that wasn't in the script. The actors felt that this was very needed in the scene because of how passionate the two are when it comes to their respective characters. First Lucas, now Hopper. Who do you think will initiate an unscripted kiss next? Lastly on the list, at number 1, Munson has a little fun. The fan favorite character also had one of the best dynamics in the latest season. This was with none other than Steve Harrington, everyone's favorite babysitter. Quinn had improvised so many lines with the amount of screen time he had that he forgot what was actually scripted. One of the most iconic lines was when he said to Steve, "Don't you, big boy?" As if fans weren't crazy about this partnership already, Joseph was having the time of his life with this character on the show and made the most out of it. And that is all for this video. What are some of your favorite improvised lines on the show? Let us know in the comments below. As always, leave a like and hit that subscribe button to see more of our content, and we'll see you in the next one.